Alright, this is showing our bus. This is the original door that came on it. Previous people welded it together at the center hinge here to make it one continuous door on the regular OEM hinge. As you can see, the glass is cracked. I was surprised how much this thing weighed when I took it off. I was thinking our replacement door was going to be heavier, but that's not the case. This is a 32-inch door, not, just the door, no casing on it. The doorway actually measures out to about 35 inches, so you might be able to fit a 36-inch door. The problem is the height. So I got to cut into some of this up here. I already took out the panel that was up there. Unfortunately, there's not enough room without cutting into it. To get to this point, it was mostly just taking out fasteners. So next is the die grinder. So I'll mark out some lines up there and use a cutoff wheel to open it up to 79 3/8, and then I'll build the frame around it and it'll be good. Alright, got the lines marked out. Had to measure twice, so there's 2 lines. I gotta go on the lower line and then down, and then on the inside I'll end up putting a piece of wood up here that I can put my weather stripping and such to, and then the hinges will go right onto this piece of metal right here, and I'll build it out here to fit the jamb of the door, and I'll probably make it removable in case we gotta fit something big in here. So I got the extension cord running to the inverter. We'll see if it runs the die grinder okay, and see if I upset any neighbors. Alright, it's all cut out. So I started by zipping along the top side, cut the skin, and then there's a thicker piece, this plate behind it. It took a while to cut through. The inverter seemed to kind of die out as it went on, so it would start strong and then not be real happy at the end. I don't know if that's because the grinder was getting hot or if it's a combination of it, but cut straight up here as close as I could to this surface, since that's where I'm going to mount the hinge. There's these bolts that secure this plate. What I did is I just sliced through the skin of that one, and I'll take this bolt out and just remove this piece. It's really important, anybody that hasn't done this before, to watch where the sparks are flying. There's a little area back here where there was a bunch of insulation. Looks like I missed some, and some paper. So if you're not careful, sparks will shoot back in there. So I wet a rag and then put something behind it to hold it so that the sparks would not catch anything on fire, hopefully. So make sure I stick around and do a fire watch for a while afterward. But on this side I cut as close as I could to this surface, but since this side's getting trimmed out, it's not going to matter as much. There's a little lip left here that I can just grind back if I want it to be flush, so that the board can cover it all up. Yeah, now the door should fit. Maybe I'll see if I can prop my phone up and do a continuous video. Alright, we'll see if the phone stays. got to cut a little bit more off. Let's see if I can prop this up. So, focus. All right, so it looks like it's pretty close. I can probably just grind that back with a flat wheel instead of having to use a cutoff wheel. So I'll take a marker and scribe a line across. The weather seal on the bottom is all squished down, so I want to go a little bit above where it's at now so that that seal doesn't get destroyed. I'm also thinking about replacing this kind of treaded area here with a piece of stainless steel, so that'll add a little bit of thickness, but I'll probably go fairly thin on it and just screw it to the floor. And my marker's in there, so I'll get another marker. Also, the door is on an angle, so it's not actually going to be as high as what I'm marking here because it's tipped out. It'll be a slightly shorter. What I'll do is I'll use a flat grinding wheel and grind until that line disappears, and that should give me enough clearance to at least get the door in there and start trimming it out. Alright, got the line ground all the way back, so the door should fit vertically now. I was going to take out this little plate here, and I was loosening the head of the bolt, but I couldn't get the nut on the back side to stop. I don't know if it's stripped out or if there's something else going on back there, but I ended up just grinding the head of it off since I had the grinder here. So now I should just be able to there's just a little nub hanging off. I'll get a punch and punch that through once it's done cooling off. So now I should be able to put the door in here, see how it fits. Right before we run out of light. Go a little further back so you can see the whole thing. Alright, I don't know if that last video saved or not of me taking off the washer, but should be good to put the door on now. Just the very left side. Looks like the inner plate is further down than the outer skin. So I'll work on here where I gotta go back. Between here and there. Maybe a little bit between here and there. A little bit here. There. Pretty much the whole way back here. So from about here over. So there to there. There to there. There. Okay, iteration number 3. All right, fingers crossed it should fit this time. One thing I wanted to point out before I go much further, so get some light in here. If anybody's doing this in the future, I noticed once I started grinding from the inside, this thick inner plate here, when they make this, it's stamped. You can see how it kind of dips in right here. This is stamped out. It's got the same lip on the bottom here all the way across. So it's a nice straight reference line. And to fit an 80-inch height door, you got to grind it right up to about where that dip in ends, where it's flat again. So if you just make that disappear all the way back, that should fit an 80-inch door just about perfect. So let's see if it fits now. Pretty darn good. So there's some bolts down here that I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with. I put some countersunk screws in there. Else. Be able to leave them there. Might be about the thickness of the hinge. Then I'll build out here and should be in business. Alright, we're working on darkness. Took the 4 bolts out of there. I don't know what's behind this panel, but if I have to get to it in the future, I'm gonna have to take the door off, but not a big deal. I did a little more grinding on there. I had to shim it up with my handy Tesla plate frame. It's just the right thickness to take up a little bit of the gap of the door seal. So setting this here to lift the door up enough that I can mark where the hinges are going to go, and then I will start drilling. So let's see if I can, how good this video is going to be from here. figure out how I'm gonna mark the holes for the hinge. This door came with the, I think it's called the mortise, already cut in the door, luckily. But I got to figure out the depth in for this. Actually, I guess what I'll do is I'll screw it onto this door here, and then let's see, I can mark the height with the hinge right now. Markers are in there. I'll have to get a level to make sure the door is level before I mark the final spot. But this bottom one, you can eyeball, slide it in there. Get it about flush. Mark the, I don't know if you can hear me, I'll mark the top and the bottom. Alright, now where are my marks? Alright, so focus you. Alright, there's the top and there's the bottom. So what I'll do is I will screw the hinge onto here and then measure from the top down, and then measure from the outer face in to get my first hole, and then transfer those measurements down from here and in from this face with a square, and that should get me one bolt hole. And probably mount the hinge onto here once that bolts in, and put a level on it and screw or mark the other holes with a marker through the hinge. We'll see how it goes. All right, door's mounted. So I first mounted the hinge to the door, and then I swung the door open enough that I could get the screws in, and propped up the door to get it at the right height. And what I did was I took a level and I checked the level of the bus because it's not perfectly level, and looked at the bubble and then put it on the door, tried to match the bubble best I could, and then I marked the holes on the bus, and as you can see there's this nice big flange right here that you can secure your hinge right to. You don't have to add anything. And so now we got two hinges on there. It's secure enough to try it out. And closes. Got a nice seal on the bottom it's not over compressed, and looks pretty even across, so the door must be pretty square to the opening. I don't think I mentioned it, but we decided to put spring hinges on because the pin isn't removable since we had an out-swinging door. We didn't want removable hinges just so nobody could take the door off, although if they're going to break in, they can probably just break the glass. Another important thing is you got to make sure you get tempered glass. Pretty much any modern exterior door is going to be tempered. That way if it does shatter, the glass isn't in sharp shards. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is, since the window doesn't fill the whole opening, this is going to be filled with some wood to get a lock set in there. My visibility is not going to be great, but it'll probably be close to what I had, since the glass in the old door on the back side here was tinted pretty deep, dark, and it was all shattered from top to bottom, so couldn't really see through it anyway. So I guess this will be an improvement on that. All right, day number 2. Started by cutting the recess here for the lock set. This didn't come with the recess in there. So what I did is I put the deadbolt and the strike for the door up there, made some lines around, and used a wood chisel to cut this so that these are flush. A lot of people that I see that are amateurs just put it right on the face, and that makes this stick out, and if your gap's real tight, then this is gonna hit, and it just doesn't look very professional. So I gotta put a little bit of wood glue on here to hold this piece on, but see, it's nice and flush if it'll focus. And now I'm putting the lock set and the deadbolt in, and then I got a piece of 3-inch angle iron. The gap between at the bottom here is a little bit tighter than at the top, so the door's not completely square, but it's within about an 1/8 inch, I would say. Probably not quite an 1/8. So what I'm going to do is put the angle iron up here with 3 inches out here, and then I'll drill through the inner web and drill it right into the side here. That'll get my gap close here, and then I'll put some weather stripping with a trim board here so that the door will close up flush, and then eventually I will wrap the front face here with some trim, probably some stainless steel or maybe aluminum. So right now, just working on getting this set so I can mark the holes and get the angle iron, or not angle iron, the channel mounted. Alright, the angle iron for the channel is cut. I'd put a pretty good sized chamfer in the corner. There's a big bead of sealant in the corner here, so put a chamfer on the edge of the angle iron, make it clear, and as you can see, the gap gets a little bit wider as you go up, but it's nothing that the weather stripping won't clear. If you can't hear me, it's because I'm wearing a dust mask from my grinding. See how the door opens. So next I need to drill some holes through the web. So drill some holes in here at an angle, and I've got some sheet metal, 1/4 inch sheet metal screws that I'll put into here. Alright, the channel is all bolted in. I didn't put a ton of bolts in. I put one 1 inch up from the bottom, and then every foot from there up. So screwed in nice and tight. Then what I did after that was push the deadbolt out and put it up against the door and mark the top and the bottom, and did the same for the latch for the door handle. Then I came in and I took the section of channel that I cut. As you can see, it's super thick. This is the only one they had in stock locally. So I measured up where the end of the web is, and then I used the machinist square here to transfer a line, scribe a line down, so I know that that's the thickness. So my holes had to be tangent with that line. Then I went in, the bolts are just a little under 1 inch, so I went in 1/2 inch from the scribe line, marked the line straight up and down, and then marked the line perpendicular to that in the center between these two lines. And originally I started with a hole saw, but I didn't get the special drill bit that you needed for it, so I had a step bit, and the step bit actually works super fast. So I just took the step bit all the way to the 1 inch that it goes up to, and luckily the door lines up. So you can see the door strike is all the way in, and then the deadbolt works as well. So I'll have to put some weather stripping up here all the way around it to seal up for any air getting through. I'll end up probably putting a piece of wood out here, and then the door seal will go up on this face. And not sure quite how I'm going to do it for this yet. I'm going to wrap this probably in some stainless steel that'll go all the way around it. I'll have to have a shop bend that up, and then I'll screw the stainless steel into here with some flush screws so it doesn't look, you know, like a piece of raw steel. And then I think I'll probably end up putting some kind of weather stripping onto that piece. And the piece of stainless steel that I plan on doing is going to be like a U shape, so it'll go around this whole thing and go back to the body here, and then I'll put some sealant on it to seal it up for weather resistance. And that's about it. So door's about, I don't know, 80% done. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the drip edge back up on top of the door frame yet. That's there so when the rain comes off the roof, it doesn't run inside. This is what's left of it. I saved the old piece right here. I might either rivet that back on or maybe weld it. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, that's it for now. Alright, I decided I was going to spend some time getting the strip edge ready. So what I did was just grind off the head of all the rivets holding it together on the back. This piece is, this plate is still in the bus further up, so I don't need this. This is the piece I need, so knock out all of these rivets, and what I'm going to do is get off the little pieces that are still remaining on both sides here, and then I'm going to weld it back onto here, and then I'll hold it up on there, transfer all the holes, and then reattach it. Probably won't use rivets. I'll probably just use button head stainless steel screws. Alright, here's a video drilling the steel rivets on the outside. I just got it started, and let's see if I can prop the phone up here without it falling. Well, I'll try and do it one-handed. I might have to go up a drill one size. This rivet's a little bit larger than the one next to it. Let's try this one, see if I can get it started without center punching it. There we go. Yeah, I gotta jump up to a little larger drill bit on that one, but you get the idea.